I'd like to welcome everyone to the regular June meeting of the Frankfurt Plant Board, and I would ask the Secretary to call the roll.
Member Long? Here. Member Cuban?
Here.
Member Mason?
Here.
Member Snyder?
Here.
Member Dutton Mitchell? Here.
First item on the agenda is the approval of minutes for the June 10th special board meeting. That's in your packet. Do we have any additions, corrections, or deletions? Seeing none, I accept a motion on the minutes.
So moved.
Motion made. Do I have a second? Second. Motion made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next action item up on the agenda is the insurance policy. Consider approval of our workers' compensation renewal in the amount of $123,000 and change. Hans?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. This is our annual renewal with FPB. It's a bit more than it was last year because of one larger claim. That's not indicative of any spate of injuries or any series of injuries we've had. The mod factor is still less than 1, which indicates we're doing better than average. So I'd ask that the board motion to renew the policy. Got Stanley Marshnick, our agent, here with us tonight to answer any more detailed questions that the board may have. So thank you.
Okay, great. Anyone have any questions? Yes, Catherine.
So I know not much about this, but I tried to get a little educated. I clearly still need a little education, but on the E-mod, so Kentucky goes with the NCCI. So this association determines that rate based on what we do and our history of claims. And so, but we're still below what I thought was a neutral E-mod. I look at 1.0 as the neutral E-mod. So why is the premium going up?
Do you want to come up this way?
Yes, please.
So, the National Council on Compensation Insurance, that's NCCI. They are the ones that calculate or promulgate your mod. So one is just industry standard. You guys are at a 0.97. Your mod went from a 0.85 to a 0.97 because you don't take the most recent term when it comes to your loss history. You take the 3 years prior. So you guys had a $18,000 a year in losses fall off and a $36,000 a year come on. So that's why that mod went up 14%. And then the premium actually only went up by about 6.23%. And then the payrolls actually increased by 2.82%. If you look at the rates across the board, you guys have 7 class codes on your work comp policy. 6 of those 7 rates actually went down. So with the increase in mod, with the increase in payroll, that's why the premium went up.
And I might add this, not as a commercial for y'all, but it was, I forget how many years ago, John, Steve, but workers' comp rates just went through the roof in the state. And the General Assembly created KEMI as a, as a non-profit,
Right.
Semi-whatever, just like the lottery and all that is. I mean,
It's the state fund. So
right,
they
it's
are
a state
the
fund, but it's not a
largest
state
writer of
agency, but
work
it
comp.
is, yeah. But
Exactly.
so it was created to basically give employers a chance to get lower rates. So I'm not saying good or bad about your rates, but you all were created to get rates lower.
Well,
and
one
I
of
know
the
we've
things
been
I
with y'all
always
for a
look
long
at-
time. So
One of the things I always look at when I compare the rates, I compare the amount of credit that the work comp carrier put on there. They did not decrease the credit. You still have a 36% credit. So Chemio has 2 tiers of rates. They have preferred and they have non-preferred. You guys are in the lowest rate when it comes to those class codes that are on your policy, which are preferred rates. And then they did not drop the credit down. They left it exactly where it was.
So if we were at a 1.0 E-mod,
Yep.
our that premium would be higher.
It would.
So
Absolutely.
essentially, we're still getting, I don't know, I guess we consider it a discounted.
You're getting basically a 3% credit for other industries. So we do have clients that have mods that are 1.5 and they're getting a 50% debit, if that makes sense. So you guys are still getting a 3% credit on that, not to mention the 36% credit that Keeney applied.
But the NCCI determines the E-mod, but you all determine what you want that premium to be?
Well, the carriers, they publish their rates every year with the state. So that KEME, who your work comp carrier is, they have two sets of rates. One is what they call preferred. So they give that for really good accounts like yours. So they will put you in that. And then, so they file their rates, and then they can typically schedule up to 40% credit, and you guys are right at 36%. And you guys have been with KEME for a very long time. You've obviously won the KEME Destiny Award. So sometimes we do see carriers where they come back, and if you have a bad year when it comes to claims, they'll reduce that credit that they put on your account. And they did not do that with you guys because they highly value the relationship.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
I move, we approve the contract for the new fiscal year.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Next item up is the financial reports for the month ending May 31st.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Before you tonight, your board packet, we have financials through May of 26. So that is 11 months of our fiscal year. So we're almost getting ready to close down fiscal year 27, or I should say 26. So tonight, I'll just briefly go through where we are as of May 31st, looking at the statement of net position. So this is on page 33 of your board packet. This lists our assets, liabilities, and net position. You can see on line 75, I'm going to use all approximate numbers here, at $251 million in assets. That's up 5.1 million or 2%. And you can see on line 45, property, plant, and equipment. We've talked about this all year. One of the main driver of the increase in assets is the company's reinvestment back into capital infrastructure projects. You can see we're at $165.7 million in property, plant, and equipment. You can see that's up 8.6 million. And so that's a number that's after depreciation. So we have depreciation expense of 8.4 million. And even after that, we have an increase overall of 8.6. So that's driving the increase in assets, showing that we are using our ratepayer money to invest back in the plant to make sure we have safe, reliable service. Looking at liabilities, line 155. These are current and non-current liabilities. You can see we're right at 93 million. That is down $7.8 million or 7.8%, primarily driven by a decrease in our KPPA numbers that we book those at the end of each year, which we'll be doing here in June, right as we get ready for the audit. So that's the primary driver of that decrease. Your assets minus liabilities giving you your total net position, line 175, at $158 million, up 12.9 million or 8.9% for the as of May 31st. I'd be glad to answer any questions on that, but the balance sheet is a similar story we've talked about all year. If there are no questions on that, I'd like to just briefly talk about the financial performance of the company for the 11 months. So this is through the first 11 months of the year. You can see total operating revenue. I'm looking at the third column. I'm going to focus on the year-to-date and year-to-date actual prior year. We're below, we're within budget parameters, and we have been most of the year. So we're doing better than expected budget to actual. So I like looking at the year-over-year changes to kind of see what the trends are looking at. Total expenses for the period. You're at $93.5 million. That is a total of your operating and then your general and admin. $93.5 million last year, $91.1. So that's an increase of $2.4 million or 2.58%. That's just slightly above, about $191,000, outpacing our increase in revenue. So revenue's up $2.2 million or 2%. Most of that increase has been driven by wholesale power cost. We have our overhead line expense, a lot of maintenance on electric lines. Health insurance is up, and that's something we've seen for months now. That's up about $200,000. And then we have electric consulting is up this year as we're moving through a wholesale power supply and other items. And then you throw in a change in depreciation, and that makes up over 72% of your total increase in expenses year over year. So that brings our total net position to $10.9 million through the 11 months ending May 31st, 26. But I'd be glad to answer any questions about where we are through the 11 months. Otherwise, that's where we are. And if you remember in June, we do close the books and have an extensive reconciliation process to make sure we have financials ready for the board, for the auditors.
Right.
So they have to be
So-
gap-based financials.
So next month, we won't have a financial report because you all have closed out the fiscal year on June 30th.
Yes, we would like to give the board the same financials we provide to the auditor, and that does take several weeks to get those accruals and all those adjustments in. And then we'll present, I guess, in August, we would have June and July
June,
for
July,
you all.
good.
But,
Does anything that you're seeing at the end of May make you think anything in the budget is still where we need to be, right?
It is, the
Where-
biggest.
What you projected in the budget for closing out this fiscal year is still good.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes, we're outperforming budget to actual. We always have the large adjustment for the public pension. The market's done well, everything's,
Yeah.
rates are low, which signals, I would think we're gonna have, I'm pretty sure we're gonna have a decrease in our liability, which will, instead of an increase in the liability. So, overall, that's the biggest one. Health insurance is one we're always waiting on to get booked, but unless there's just a unfortunate incident, we're tracking like we have been all year, so.
Steve?
Yeah, going back to your liabilities, is there any way to look at, is there any way to take the pension cost out and compare what our liabilities are with our pension? Because I know pension can be a wild card, and I don't want anyone to think that because pension decreases right now, or anything decreasing, that that's just money that's out there to be, used.
Yeah.
Because pension can go up in the next session.
Yes, absolutely. No, I don't understand what you're saying. Without the pension, we're down about 769,000, but that's, we've got the FSN lease we've paid principal on, and then the intercompany loans are paying down, and those are outpaced the increases in any of the accounts payable or accruals or any of those things. So, no, that is great that is coming down, because I think this year in this budget that we're talking about approving tonight, it's reducing expenses by about $225,000, which is great. But, we're always still very attentive to the balance sheet. So we've got liabilities we still have to take care of.
Anyone else?
I move we accept the May financials.
Motion made, second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. David, I'm gonna keep it with you for now for the
Sure.
final approval of the 2026-27 fiscal year budget and accepting the 5-year plan. So would you like to go over for those of you who do not know, who are watching, last Wednesday, the board had a meeting where we went over the budget in detail. Every line of business talked to us and, kind of gave their presentations about what their important things were, especially in the capital matters. We talked about an annual increment for our employees of 3% and agreed to a lot of things at our working session last Wednesday. Tonight is when that comes to fruition. We have to approve a budget by June 30th. So we're going to do that tonight, and I'm going to ask David if he would go over some of the changes that came out of that budget meeting on Wednesday.
Sure. So we start at the top where we have two different sections. The first one is changes to the expense budget, and then the second section below is the capital budget. So looking at expenses, we start with our company's net contribution, which for profits otherwise known as net income. So we're moving from net income, showing you the change. So an increase in an expense is in brackets. It's additional expense. A positive in an expense category is a decrease. So on lines 10 and 15, this is simply a reclassification, moving a trash container, a large 20-yard dumpster, from telecom to support services to be used for items not just specifically for telecom, but for the whole, to support operations for the company as a whole. Looking on 20, Dynamics SL, that is the accounting software or enterprise resource management software that we are talking about needing to replace. It is losing support in 2028. So we got a little excited and decided we were going to go ahead and just not even have it the next 2 years. So we need to add that back. So that's 15,000 next 2 years. We need to keep that going during the transition to software. Okay. Lines 25 through 40, we have 2 individuals that would like to take advantage of the tuition assistance program, and 2 that are no longer doing that we'll take off. Line 45, changes to capital that have been made do change the depreciation. So there's that depreciation change is related to just changes in the capital budget below. And then payroll changes, We have two of those. Both of them are discussed in the agenda meeting, or the agenda later in tonight. One of them is a 5% increase for the accounts payable specialist. The other was just did not make it into the budget, was a KSU intern, $15,000 plus payroll tax that has been put in there. And then pump maintenance. There was maintenance needed. It's been a little delayed to get that closed and delivered to us by the end of the fiscal year. So we just need to roll pump maintenance money from this current 26 budget into 27. It's expected to be paid out pretty early in the year. And then looking at the pump maintenance, numbers are coming in a little higher, so talked about adding years 2 through 5, another 25,000 to that, because we are seeing higher pump repair numbers coming in. So that's all the changes. You can see that the change for this year is an increase of $200,000. And that's primarily that $175,000 carrying over from this year to 27. I'd be glad, any questions on the expense section?
Don't see any. Go ahead, Dave.
If not, then on the capital, below line 10 of that, this is a carryover for, you can see that transformer work. That's just a large project. It's just carrying over $150,000 into this 27. So that's signaling probably be done earlier in this fiscal year, 27. Then we have moving line 15, replacing a vehicle, just moving it from 1 year to the next. So instead of year 1, it'd be year 2. We had a duplicate entry for a truck number 451, so that is being backed out. The meeting room at the service center of the original plans to do that, have decided to do something different, take that out. And then traveling screen piping, I believe there's been some delay in materials, and we expect that we'll need to have some of that money flowing back into 27, so an $80,000 decrease there. Overall, that's a decrease in capital of $120,000 for the year. And you can see the changes overall. So we've got, if you want to discuss any individual item, we've got staff here to do that, or anything you'd like to do.
Do you want to have any questions?
It's not really a question, but on the payroll change, number 1, the accounts payable specialist, that's adding the accounts payable specialist 2? Is that it?
Yes, it's like a job series instead of
Okay.
a 1, 2, yes.
So, and we're gonna vote on that later, right?
Yes,
Should we
6.8.
vote on that first?
Do we need, I would feel more comfortable voting on those items first, so let's finish this discussion, and the two items, which are the accounts payable and the KSU intern, which we had already talked about the KSU intern. That's a really good point, Kathy. What I'd like to do is I'd like to bring those two items up first, vote on those, and then we can approve the budget after we've done that. So if we could if there's any other questions on the budget, we'll take those now. If not, I'll probably ask Nicole, go out of order and ask Nicole to come up and talk about the two items in personnel that we need to approve before we approve the budget.
Good evening, Board Chair and members of the board.
Don't mean to interrupt, but these are agenda items 6.6 and 6.7, for those of you who are following along at home.
So for 6.6, it's consider approving proposed new position, Safety and Security Director, by combining those positions together. In order to maintain uninterrupted operations when the Safety Director resigned back in October, the Safety Director responsibilities were temporarily reassigned to the Security and Network Director, Operations Director. This arrangement was intended to last for 6 months. At the end of the 6-month period, or interim period, Human Resources conducted internal and external interviews and selected the current Security and Network Operations Director, who was in the interim position. Staff respectfully request the board consider formally combining the Safety Department with the Security and Network Operations Department functions. This would include establishing a new position with the title Safety and Security Director. The proposed position would report to the Assistant General Manager / Staff Attorney and would be assigned a grade C19, and staff will also recommend keeping the Safety Director and the Security and Network Operations Director on the authorized position list. However, those two positions would not be funded in this year's budget or the 26-27 fiscal year budget. The proposed job description for the safety director and security director are located starting on page 195 of the detail pages.
And Nichelle, correct me if I'm wrong, we advertised this position, and we had, applicants both internal and external.
Yes, sir.
And the net impact of this is instead of, we had 2 positions, now we're gonna have 1 position. So it's a net saving of 1 position plus fringe.
Yes, correct.
And this is just the adjustment, so this person is assuming a title with both duties in it. They're keeping their current duties plus adding these other duties permanently, is that correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Just to make sure I understand. So we would have had 4, safety director, security and network operations director, but the safety and security director is combining 2 more.
So previously, it was the safety director, that's 1 title. And then security and network operations director is 1 title. And now we're asking to combine those to just make 1 title, which would be safety and security network. But we would like, staff is asking to keep those titles, so later on in the event, this individual retires or leave, we still have we'll break it back apart, or that's the concept right now, that's the thought process right now.
During this interim period, the 6-month trial, that person was doing both jobs.
Correct. Yes, sir.
And then, but still we advertised it, was selected after the process, and so that person is continuing in the same duties that they had during that 6-month interim, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Good.
Any additional questions?
Don't see any. If not, I'll accept a motion to approve the proposed position, Safety and Security Director, and amending the authorized position list. Motion made, second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You'll do 6-7 and 6-8 both, I'm assuming, Nichelle?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So for 6.7, staff is asking the board to consider to changes to the salary scale adjustment with the effective date of July 1st, 2026. So in 2025, FPB implemented a job classification and compensation plan developed by Korn Ferry, and we adopted 3 new salary scales. The 3 scales are core, field, and electric. For the 2026-27 budget, Korn Ferry, FPB's compensation consultant, reviewed all 3 scales, structures, and recommended increasing the core scale by 1.5%, the field scale by 2.5%, and then in addition, staff is recommending adjusting the electric scale by 3% to align with the proposed 3% cost of living adjustment. Adjusting the salary scales following the implementation of the proposed 3% cost of living will not result in any additional salary increases for employees. Currently, all employees are at or above the minimum of their assigned pay grade, and following the proposed cost of living adjustment will remain above the minimum of their assigned grades. Staff is also requesting that the board suspend the maximum salary cap within each grade, allowing employees to receive approved pay increases that may place their salaries above the current maximum of their assigned grade. So the memos that Korn Ferry provided are also located in the detail pages, starting on page 205 to 218.
When John and I did the administrative part, Nichelle brought all these items out and rolled up and went through them in the budget, and almost all of them are canceled out by the fact that we're doing the 3% COLA first.
Right.
So that absorbs the adjustments that Korn Ferry was recommending.
Correct, so there wouldn't be no stacking, so if once an employee receives the 3% and the scale, their scale moves, they won't receive any additional increases because they will not fall below the minimum of their assigned grade.
And the abolition of the cap is for those individuals, if that 3% cost of living would have put them over the maximum, we give them dispensation to, so that they're not punished and don't get the full cost of living adjustment. Any other questions, Steve?
What happens next year, if you hire somebody and they come in at this higher grade, which puts someone that's already here in a compressed, I guess, situation?
No, because that's why the 3% is gonna move your current employees more than when you have someone come in, because with the core moving by 1.5%,
Okay.
that automatically, that individual comes in at that level, but your current employee is already up 3% more than that 1.5 increase. And the same with the field scale. And then for the electric employees, that's why staff recommended that they receive the 3% to keep them in line with the cost of living that everyone else is receiving, because they don't, the line workers, when we discussed having their own scale, the line workers were going to move with the scale and not with the cost of living.
Any other questions? If not, I'll accept a motion to approve the changes in the compensation plan, salary scale adjustments for the three different areas.
So moved.
Need a second? Motion made and seconded. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 6.8.
Thank you. Staff had asked and worked with Korn Ferry to review the water distribution supervisor position, the heavy truck equipment series, and the accounts payable series titles. Below it lists what Korn Ferry's recommendations were. So for the water distribution, Korn Ferry did not recommend a grade reclassification for that title. However, they did recommend a 5% increase for the expansion of their job duties. So this proposed recommendation would affect 4 water distribution supervisors, and the total estimate budget increase would be $26,519, and that is without fringe.
Right.
And that also includes the 3% cost of living. So in this case, this will be a situation where they will receive the 5% plus the additional 3% COLA.
And if I'm not mistaken, of all the things Korn Ferry recommended, of all the this one, the water treatment was the only one that had any cost to it, right? Everything else was, and the administrative specialist?
And the accounts payable. So
Payable,
this-
payable,
Yeah,
yes.
so this is
Yeah.
water distribution supervisor. So yes, that was an increase. And then next, the heavy trucking equipment, they did not recommend
Right.
any additional reclassification for the grades. However, they did recommend a higher starting rate for the HTE1. So from $18.89 to $22 for the starting rate, but that does not result in any increases for any employees currently in that role.
And we went, at one time, would we go 6 months, almost a year, trying to fill that position?
Over a year,
Yeah.
yes, a year, yeah. And so last year, Korn Ferry did review those series. There was an increase involved then, and so we have gone back at the request of the department to have them look at it again. And the only recommendation after making this review was the entry level, because last year we didn't have anyone in the entry level, so we didn't really worry about that title. And this year we did. However, we, as HR, had already decided to hire that person in above the minimum.
Right.
And we were in line, so that individual won't be affected by this change. And then the accounts payable specialist. So staff also requests that the board consider adding accounts payable specialist 2 to create a job title series. The responsibility of the current accounts payable specialist position has significantly expanded over time. And so with these added responsibilities, it has caused the entry-level position to be an advanced level position. And so by doing that, one employee, the current employee that's in this just one title position, would receive an increase. And the recommendation from Korn Ferry is to put the account specialist 1 at a core 12, and then the account specialist, payable specialist 2 at a 13, a core 13. And so the recommendations from Korn Ferry, their memos are listed in the detail pages starting on page 219.
As I remember when John and I went through it with you, both the heavy truck and the accounts payable are pretty much, we're competing here in Franklin County, and those are comparing to what's being paid in Franklin County.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Catherine.
Just so I understand, so do we currently have 2 people in the accounts payable specialist roles?
No, we have one individual, and so this does not mean that it's not gonna create an additional, body in the role. It's just the one person, and it's just one title right now. But the duties that this individual is doing has advanced, and so if we were to hire someone, they wouldn't be able to do what she does today.
Gotcha.
Anything else? Anyone else? If not, I'll accept a motion to consider amendments to FPB's compensation plan and authorize list based on the recommendation from Korn Ferry's compensation study. Motion made by Jason,
Second.
made and seconded. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
I might mention, what we did on the administrative side this time, similar to prior years, is we asked Nichelle to come forward with everything that was on the drawing board, so that we're not sitting in July and August and then reclassification proposals come back to look at. So we asked her to present everything to us that was basically on the table. So what we're seeing here gets everything out in the budget that is being discussed, and there shouldn't be another set of reclasses coming in later, in a couple months or whatever.
So, David, correct me if I'm wrong, we've made all the structural changes to the personnel that essentially were changed here in these budgetary changes, so we're clear now to, unless there's any further discussion on the budget, but, we've talked about it quite a bit through the special meeting and the individual meetings we had with the 3 lines of business. If not, I'll accept a motion to accept the 2026-27 budget and approve the budget and accept the 5-year financial plan.
So moved.
Motion made by Catherine, second to Jason. And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So that'll be published and will go to the Department of Local Government according to statute, et cetera, and take care of all that. I want to thank again all the staff, because this is something where everybody who supervises and deals with this stuff, everybody in this agency has pulled together to get this together, and I really appreciate your all's efforts. I know the board does as well. Next item on the agenda, any public comment? Kathy? Okay, John's public hearings didn't engender that much outrage, I don't think. Next item up on the agenda is departmental reports. Gary, will Travis?
Sure, be happy to. Looks like Kathy's already beat me to it. We'll
There you
start
go.
with public information.
Yeah, 'cause I'm gonna be short and sweet. Hi. During the past month, Cable 10 covered all 3 high schools' graduations. They aired them live, and they were able to post them on our Facebook page and also Cable 10's YouTube channel if anybody wasn't able to make it. And also, it was raining, and so, so it was a good thing we had those covered. Also, before they graduated, we were able to attend all of the senior awards days and present the Frankfort Plant Board Youth Scholarship. So I just wanted to announce those to everybody because we did them separately at each of the schools. From Western Hills High School, we had Eli Lee, and he will be majoring in engineering at UK. From Franklin County, we had Javen Kennedy Aitken, and he will be majoring in electrical engineering at UK. And from Frankfort High School, we had Madeline Starkey, who will be going to Ole Miss and studying broadcasting. And that's all I'm going to talk about tonight.
So the 2 engineers, so will Travis and Sharmista be going to class with them every day?
I'm sure, yeah, we'll get you their schedules and But we did talk about, the importance of, it's okay to come home
Yes.
and find a job and get work here. And that's one thing we try to do with our scholarships. We try to find people that might be able to find a job here at FPB. So we like doing those presentations, and We wish all of the seniors who graduated best of luck.
Fantastic. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you, Kathy. Next up will be Darren with the knock and safety report.
Congratulations, Darren.
Thank you, thank you.
I don't know if congratulations are in order or not, but we'll see.
We'll check back. For the month of May, the knock, we entered 530 trouble calls and handled 2,407 phone calls. On the locate side of the house, 664 locates. And for the fiscal year, that's a total of 7,572 locates. So about the same year to year, but busy as usual. Safety, good month for safety. We had no injuries, no vehicle accidents, no damage investigations.
Clean sheet.
So,
There you go.
good clean month, and just the normal, business for the safety department, inspections and safety meetings and that type of thing. So, not a whole lot to report.
Okay, thank you.
No news is
No,
good news.
yes, absolutely.
Thanks, Darren. Next up, customer service, April.
Good evening. You can find the customer service reports on page 107 to 110. There on page 107 is that customer service overview. So in the month of May, customer service assisted 7,105 customers. 4,335 of those were phone calls, 1,491 walk-ins, and then 1,196 customers through our drive-through. We did have 83 brand-new customers sign up via our customer portal. There at the top of the page, you'll see the wait times. We had a really good month for our wait times this month. We were not quite fully staffed last month, but we didn't have anyone training. We were just one short, and so that makes a big difference in those wait times. Tier 1 and Tier 3 were both under 2 minutes, and Tier 2 was just slightly under a minute. And then when you take out those 4 peak days, we were under a minute in Tier 1 and 2, and then at a minute and 10 seconds for Tier 3. So pretty good month overall with the wait times. And then there at the bottom, you'll see the Google reviews. We did have 11 positive Google reviews last month and then 1 negative. So we're still holding strong at 3.5 star Google rating. And we continue to, of course, try to provide the best service we can to customers and ask them to give us Google ratings so that we can continue to see that increase. Other than that, I don't have anything else to report unless you all have questions.
Excellent. Nope.
All right, thank you all.
All right, thank you, April. Next up, Adam with the telecom.
Good evening. The telecom report starts on page 111 of your board packet with customer numbers, and we're inching closer to that 10,000 customer cutover mark, which is good to see. We had no outages for the month of May, and trouble calls still, kind of low. Most of the trouble calls still customer education, a lot of using the app and things of that nature. So, as far as the grants go, 400 homes passed. I think we just started hitting them with some marketing material, and we have 43 active customers out of that 400, so 10%, and nowhere to go but up. So
Good there.
be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Don't see any. Thank you, Adam.
All right, thank you, Adam. Next up, Scott, electric report.
Good evening. Electric report starts on page 115. Our SAIDI numbers for the month, or for the year 2026, month of May, is 31.67971. Page 116 shows your SAIDI numbers for May of 2025, which would be 25.54674. Page 117 will show your SAIDI numbers for May of 2021, which is 14.4591. Page 118 is your pie chart again. It shows your certain percentages. Then it breaks down the bottom. It shows you the actual counts. There was 43 outages for the month of May. Average customer affected per outage was 53.7. Had a total customers affected of 2282. And then page 119 shows your top 10 outages for the month of May. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Scott. The SEPA report begins on page 121 of your board package. Our total SEPA bill this month was $104,218. You'll see We had that additional energy charge this month, which is pretty typical end of the fiscal year. SEPA allocates so much energy to us per our 15 megawatts of capacity. So at the end of the year, if you exceed that allocation, there's a little additional energy charge. We're still net positive on that. It's just, you know, again, end of the fiscal year, there's so much allotted for the year, so that's why that additional charge is there. Our payment for SEPA was $186,030 for a profit to the board of $81,812, which brings us through May of this year a net benefit to the board of $914,265 for SEPA. So off to a good start this year. And if there are no questions on that, Gary, correct me if I'm wrong, I think there will be no regular KYMEA meeting for June.
Council meeting will be July.
Okay.
But if you do have any question, I will happy to answer. KYMEA.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Next up, we'll go to water distribution. Bruce?
Good evening, everybody. Starting on page 125, you'll see there are 9 new water services installed in May. Page 126 reflects we had only 1 water main break. And on page 127 indicates that the 1 water main break did not require an outage for the repair. Guys working hard, lot of progress going on, a lot of jobs going on, so they're trucking right along and getting ready to finish one job and they go on to the next. So, anyone have any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Do we have this is just a random question. Do we have a certain time of year when water main breaks are more likely?
A lot of times, you know, it does reflect in the wintertime. Gets real cold, freezing, ground conditions change, but also in a severe drought.
Okay.
Because the ground shifts.
The ground
When the ground shifts, therefore the older lines pop and, you know, then there it is. But generally everyone reflects, you know, think that it's gonna be winter related.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. Next up, water treatment plant report. Brandon?
Good evening, everyone. For the month of May, the water treatment plant treated 272,626,000 gallons of water for an average of 8.79 million gallons a day, and Block 4 averaged 3,273 cubic feet per second for an average of 2.1 billion gallons a day. I'm sorry.
I know we were short on rainfall for a while, and then we got all that rain. Are we about where we should be at this point, roughly?
I think it's a little low for this time of year, but last month we had 6.7 inches of rain, so we were really up there for a while, but
they got dry again.
It's getting a little dry.
Yeah.
But we're in good shape. So.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right. If there's no further questions, Mr. Chairman, that concludes department reports.
Travis, before we move on, AMI, we're done completely with the water meters, or
We're
completely?
done. Yep.
And electric as well?
Electric and water, we're fully deployed on AMI.
So what are the next, are they fully operational now, or have they turned everything over to us, et cetera, et cetera?
They have, yeah, we have, I think the term they use, we've transitioned to support, and we're no longer in a deployment phase with the vendor. So ongoing costs, we're probably looking at the annual license fee. Of course, meters we'll have to replace here and there, but for the most part, we're deployed and up and running.
Good, excellent. Okay. Next item on the agenda, action item 6.1, consider rescinding the award, the bid invitation 1845 for transformers to Brownstone Electric Supply, and re-awarding them to United Utility Supply. Leanne.
Good evening.
Good evening. Did we screw up?
No, it really wasn't our fault. At the last regular board meeting, the board approved awarding bid 1845 for GE transformers to Brownstown Electric Supply in the amount of $1,043,142. Staff placed the order and was notified that GE, which is the manufacturer, had implemented a 20% tariff to the order that was not included in their pricing to the distributor, which was Brownstown. and they are not willing to absorb the cost. The tariff amount would be $208,628, and once you add that to Brownstown's total bid, they are no longer the low bidder. So staff recommends re-awarding to United Utility Supply in the amount of $1,132,890.
Any questions? Hey, let me just ask you a question, Leanne. This is the first time I remember ever doing this. It's pretty rare that we rescind a bid.
It's rare.
Yeah, okay. Just want to make sure. And the new winning bidder, there's no tariff issues with them or anything
I've
like that? We've
confirmed
already
that
cleared
they-
that out?
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, seeing no other questions, accept a motion? Motion made, need a second? Motion made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion's carries. Next item of the agenda, this is John Cubine's favorite day of the year because we're going to consider the award of bid invitation 1851, the annual price contract for water treatment chemicals starting July 1st, 2026 through the next fiscal year. Brandon.
Yes, so staff prepares an annual budget, or an annual bid for chemicals used in water treatment. The bid includes estimated quantities and explains that orders could exceed or fall short of estimates. Vendors bid with the understanding that the bid's purpose is to hold unit price throughout FPB's fiscal year. This bid received 12 sealed bids. After reviewing each bid, staff recommend awarding bid 1851 to the lowest bidders meeting specs except for powder activated carbon.
They're all over the place, aren't they?
They
Up
are,
and down,
yeah,
I mean.
yeah. And so we did reverse auction, so we went back to sealed bids on this one. So it's a little bit different this year. So.
Any questions from any of the members? If not, I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second. Motion made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Brandon, go buy your chemicals.
Yeah.
Next item on the agenda is consider approval of electric tariff revisions, including electric rate increase. Travis, and for those who are watching, you all will remember that last month at our regular meeting, we had a public hearing to discuss this rate increase, and we took public testimony. And like I said, like Kathy said earlier, we did not receive any additional feedback or any additional comment on that. So I'm going to turn it back over to Travis. If you would very quickly kind of go over what we're going to be doing here, and we'll take it from there.
Yes, sir, be happy to. As you mentioned, last month, we had at the May 18th special meeting, held the public hearing for electric tariff revisions. Obviously, the most impactful of those being changes to the electric rates. So the proposed changes include a 3.9% system average increase. The plan we've kind of put forward is based on a study that was done in 2023. Of course, I'm sure all the board members can recall that. That study, performed by 1898 and Company, recommended a two-step increase, one which was implemented in 2023 for fiscal year 24. The second step was delayed due to, kind of several factors, just an overall more positive financial outlook at that time than we had originally anticipated. So again, we're asking the board to accept at this time that 3.9% electric rate increase. The other kind of driver behind that, of course, is being the increase in wholesale power costs. Those KYMEA rate increases are approved and final, so those are coming. This rate increase we're asking for essentially just offsets that. Again, this is not additional funds that are going into our pocket. This is to cover our increased costs from KYMEA. One thing I wanted to note, some of the public hearing discussion kind of revolved around how we stack up locally and nationally. So we went back and did a little additional research on that. The chart we're presenting there, all that data can be found in the Energy Information Administration. That's a federal agency. They produce this data. You can go to the charts and look for yourself. If you go in a few weeks, it's kind of a rolling, it updates, of course. So this is, I think, from March, but the Kentucky average for an average residential customer is 14.88 cents. Nationally, it's at 18.5 cents. If you look at states like California or Hawaii, it's double that or more. So I think we're still performing very well, both locally and even more so nationally. We're well below kind of those averages. One other thing I want to note, the 11.5 cents, that's for an average residential customer. So that's not the base rate. That includes that customer charge, and you take an average of, we say it's 1,200 kilowatt hours a month as an average customer. So that factors both of those in. The actual base rate's a little lower than that. But so yeah, again, I think we still, we're trending very well. We're very competitive versus both locally and of course nationally. A couple other items briefly on the tariff changes. We're also asking the board to adopt a large load, high load factor rate. Again, what the strategy here is, we're going to have a delivery charge for use of our system. These very large customers, wholesale power is going to be a pass-through directly to them. That's going to be their burden to bear, essentially. I think that's the strategy. Again, is kind of that. We think that's the best way. We recover our costs, but we also protect the rest of the rate base from any of these new loads that come on. Right. This would not apply to any existing customer. This is kind of just trying to do our due diligence in case that day comes where one of these want to connect to our system. Third and final, very briefly, the developer refund policy. It's been on the books for a couple years now. We ran into that hiccup on the certificate of occupancy, just kind of became a hassle. I think we have ways we can kind of work around the requirements. We're just asking the board to remove the requirement for a refund to developers to provide the CO, the certificate of occupancy. Again, that's just a refund on funds they've already contributed up front. That's not there's no profit incentive there for those. Right. It's just a mechanism for them to kind of get their funds back as they're adding to our system. So went through very quickly there. Happy to answer any questions on the electric tariff changes.
Any questions?
I just wanted to point out, sort of as a follow-up to what you said about responding to the comments and taking a look at some of those comments and the basis for them. And one of the things we just did in our budget, we in build up to today, we did look at our participation in that community action partnership and our $50,000 contribution. We looked to see if that's gotten used, if we needed more than that. It's not been fully used every year, but we are funding it again at $50,000. So for those that this change will hurt and they need assistance, they can perhaps qualify for that, which would be an audit. And then there's monies to actually make the modifications.
Correct. Yep. Up to $2,500 per customer. So pretty impactful if you qualify. Yep.
Anything else? And again, nobody wants to raise rates, but this was, remind people again that, as Travis said, this was supposed to be a two-step process in 23 and 24. And we held off the second year of the second rate increase for 3 full years, and now circumstances have just gotten to the point where we're not able to do that. So it's not my favorite thing in the world to do, but I will accept a motion on the proposed tariff changes.
So moved. Second.
Motion made and seconded on the proposed tariff changes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Travis.
Thank you.
And those will take effect July 1st, correct?
Yes, sir. That's correct. July 1st.
Next item up on the agenda, consider approving Racer TV, formerly known as MAV TV, renewing their contract. Harvey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Staff recommends approval of the Racer renewal. This is an NCTC agreement with a term through May 31st of 2029. It's on our optional Sports Plus tier, so this doesn't really have any effect on our classic cable customers. but the rates are flat throughout the agreement. No additional carriage requirements or obligations, and it's been reviewed by the Assistant General Manager. Meets with his approval. I'm happy to answer any questions on this item.
Any questions? Seeing none, I'll accept a motion.
So moved.
Motion made, second.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is consider approving a lot of things I'm gonna let Harvey talk about in terms of cable rates. I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, sir. Again, we want to reiterate these recommendations are not made lightly. We recognize that any increase impacts our customers, and we work hard every year to keep these as limited as possible. But unfortunately, the continued rising wholesale cost of programming and broadcast content is the main driver here. Continued consolidation of media companies makes providers like FPB gives us very little negotiating leverage on these rates. I'll show you the charts that we update every year. Since 2003, the programming expense as a percentage of our customer bills, which is the blue line, has grown from roughly 38% to nearly 90%, while FPB's operational portion has declined over the same period. And then when you look at actual dollars, you can see how it's climbed every year, while our operational costs, the green line, is the very small green line at the bottom, and has remained relatively stable. And do want to point out that FPB is not alone in facing these pressures. Video providers across the country have raised rates over the years. You see YouTube TV rates have increased 137% in the last 9 years, while ours have raised 60%. So I'll run through real quickly the proposed adjustments. Basically fall into 4 different categories. On the programming side, we're proposing a modest increase to the customer charge, and then the cable network pass-through fee, which again is just a direct reflection of what we pay to these content providers. The bulk cable rates would also increase by a similar percentage. These are services primarily for hotels, dormitories, and larger commercial properties. And then with regard to the premium channels, we're making adjustments in both directions. The HBO rates would increase due to the higher wholesale cost to FPB, while Cinemax's rates have actually decreased, and so we're reducing those rates to our customers. And then finally, proposing updates to our equipment-related fees, including set-top boxes and the digital gateway fee. These changes reflect higher maintenance costs, vendor software, security fees, and the continued expense of supporting legacy equipment and back-end systems. Taken together, these recommendations are intended to keep our rates aligned with our actual cost of providing service. I know that's something that David talks about a lot, while continuing to deliver reliable service to our customers. So happy to answer any questions you guys may have on this item.
MeTV is still okay, right?
Through the term of that agreement.
It's a keeper, buddy.
Yeah. And I will once again not go on my annual screed about broadcast television and us having to pay for broadcast television we otherwise get for free. That's just the way things go in the cable business. Do any other members have any questions? If not, I will accept a motion on the proposed rates.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you,
all.
Harvey. Okay, we've done the other items on the agenda. General Manager's comments. Gary, do we have anything? Okay. Any other old or new business? I would remind the members, John gave me his evaluation of the General Manager. We gave that to you at the budget meeting last week. If you could get that to me by the end of the month, I would appreciate it. So thank you all very much. Anybody else have any old or new business? Okay. Closed session, Mr. Cubine.
I'd like to make a motion to request permission to call a closed session pursuant to KRS 61.8101N to select a successful bidder for award of a local contract and pursuant to KRS 61.8101C to discuss pending litigation regarding a customer matter, administrative matter, and a contract matter.
You gotta have a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? We'll now go into closed session. Zach, will you let us know when we're out? get a motion to come out of closed session.
Second.
Motion made, second to come out of closed session. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Cubine, any possible action regarding closed door discussions?
I'd like to make a motion to authorize staff to retain counsel for an energy-related matter.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned. We'll see y'all next month.